Hello, my lovely, and welcome to your reading today. If you're new to my channel, my name's Addison Taylor. This is my YouTube channel, Higher Self Tarot, where I do pick-a cards. I talk about astrology, numerology, how to, just anything spiritually related, I've got you. So if that's something you're interested in, please go ahead and subscribe and join our little family that we're creating over here. And for those of you who are fellow subscribers, I just want to thank you so much for your support. Your comments always mean so much to me. Every time my video receives a like or a share, any sort of notification, it means the world, and it helps reaffirm what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and I just so appreciate and love you all. So for today's reading, we are going to get into cycles. These could be karmic cycles, just some sort of loop or cycle that you recognize that you're in, but you don't understand where it begins, where it ends, where's the root, where's the cause, how in the world do you pull yourself out of it. So it can cover any facet of life, which is why I wanted to be specific and do 6 piles, okay? So there will definitely be a message in here for you, and make sure that if you're feeling called to more than one pile, watch them both. Sometimes we are in more than one cycle at a time. Today's reading was actually inspired by just myself, something I'm going through personally, and I found that some of my best readings start with, an issue that I'm having, on my own anyway. And actually the first reading I did for my YouTube channel was in the midst of a really deep depression, and it's a depression pick a card, and it's actually my highest viewed video to date. So I do believe that one of the best ways to create is through our own darkness, through our own difficulty. And so that's kind of what I'm doing here today. Before we get started, and I will flash a picture of the cards here in a bit so you can kind of meditate on the piles and choose which one is for you. I do want to mention that I have my Etsy shop open, and you can make purchases for personal readings there, and I always leave the link in the bio. I actually did a tarot party this weekend. It was a blast. It was all on Zoom because, of course, with COVID, people can't really interact in each other's homes. So a friend bought her friend this birthday gift, and there was 9 of us girls on Zoom. Some of them were having drinks, some of them were smoking, and I was just doing reading after reading after reading, and I had an absolute blast. And so if that is something you are interested in, it's such a great experience. It gives people something to talk about for months to come. We did some past life readings, general readings, we cover it all. So if you're interested in that service, it's offered on my Etsy shop, as well as many other very personalized sort of services and readings. So be sure and check that out if that's something that you need. So, okay, I will stop talking and we'll flash a picture of the piles, and I'll meet you there. All the timestamps, as always, will be down below. All right. All right, pile number 1, welcome to your reading. I do want to start with my astrological die. I purchased these a few weeks ago. They've been so helpful in my reading. So this will help give us a general idea of what house this cycle is affecting you, maybe any planets and signs involved in this energy that's around you. So take a few deep breaths to get connected to the reading. If you didn't already do that when you were selecting your pile, I'll do it with you. All right, we're centered, we're connected. Let's get this reading going. Okay, so we have Jupiter, the 9th house, which Jupiter is very comfortable in the 9th house, and Virgo. Okay, so the 9th house and Jupiter are a lot about higher education, college, bachelor's and master's degrees, but it's also about the bigger view on life, our religion, our spiritual views, what gives life meaning. Jupiter is often like a spiritual leader or a teacher, like the wise teacher. of the zodiac, and it's all in Virgo. And Virgo is a very analytical sign. Virgo wants to know all the details, all the answers. It wants to have everything organized. Everything needs to connect and make sense. So this cycle for you guys may be about connecting the dots when it comes to your religious views, what you think the meaning of life is, even maybe unraveling that a bit, like letting it breathe a little bit. Relinquishing control maybe might be a theme for you, and you may not even realize. Okay, but as we get into the cards, we'll connect how this all ties together. So this is the stone that you all chose. This is, I know it has like a legitimate name, but I know it as Fool's Gold, but I think it's so beautiful. Okay, so I want to do the tarot cards first, and then we have many oracle cards that we will get into. So let's take a look at the tarot. Okay, we have 5 of Pentacles, 7 of Cups, the Moon, this is Pisces energy, and the Fool, this is air energy, which is, you know, very mercurial and okay, let me take a look at these and connect just a bit. So the only major arcana card we have here is the Moon, and that's definitely calling out to me. Oh no, I'm sorry. We have the Moon and the Fool, but the Moon is calling out to me first, so I want to speak on that. The Moon is about delving into one's subconscious, delving into our psychological tendencies, or going on a journey through darkness. We have to venture out into it, but we can't see all the details. This is very opposite of the Virgo energy that we pulled up with the die. The Moon card is about this journey where, you know, we can't see the details, we can't see all of the signs. It can bring up a lot of fears in us. We can start imagining different things in the darkness as we're walking to get to our destination. All right, so it's very opposite of the Fool's energy, which is right next to it. And the Fool is a very liberated. The Fool is also on a new, unknown sort of journey, just like the person in the Moon card is. But the Fool is on this new journey with a totally different sort of perspective. He's free, he's excited, he doesn't know what's to come, but he's okay with that. You know, that's a part of life. So this is the energy, this is the cycle you guys are working through, is getting out of this sort of feeling of fear and intensity and walking into this liberation, this freeness, this zest for the unknowns of life. But this is the difference, because I do see that it would not be possible. This isn't just about, oh, shift your mindset type of thing, okay? Because the Moon card, with it being about psychological tendencies, the subconscious, it's often about how we were raised, what type of mother we had. The Moon represents the mother. That is the reason why you guys aren't yet able to step into this Fool energy. So this isn't just, oh, you know, relinquish control. It's not as simple as like what I stated in the beginning. This is actually about a need to really dig back into the past, you know, figure out what it is you believe and why. I even think you guys have some really odd phobias that you can't explain, okay, that you've never been able to explain. Those sorts of things need to be dissected. I think you guys also have very vivid nightmares and dreams, and those are also directly connected to instances in your past, especially your childhood before the age of like 8, 9, 10, that are buried down in there that need to be like pulled up, unearthed, and resolved. And so with this cycle that you're in, there's going to be, Spirit's going to be bringing you into a lot of circumstances that start sucking I'm going to refer to it as like a poison, sucking the poison out of the wound. Kind of like if someone gets a snake bite, the first thing you must do is suck as much of that venom out of the wound as you can, bring it to the surface. And yes, it's very painful to have all that venom sucked out of that bite, but the alternative, if it's not sucked out, is, you know, potential death. So it needs to be done. It's absolutely necessary. And so Spirit wants you to know that it has pity on you guys. Like it feels, Spirit, God, Source, whatever you refer to it as, has a lot of empathy for you, feels your pain, and wants you to know that these experiences that you are having as of late, or as long as you've been in this cycle, are necessary for the like plunging of your soul, like really get all of this icky stuff out from beneath the surface. So here we have the other two cards we had were the Five of Pentacles and the Seven of Cups. And these two cards are also similar as well. And here's the similarity between the two. Both people in these cards have nothing. Five of Pentacles is about, feeling very outcast, not feeling like you have a place in the world, not feeling like you have many options, not feeling like you have money or offers, opportunities. They don't really have anything tangible. They're wandering out in the cold with nothing. But Seven of Cups also has nothing. This is a man here who doesn't have anything yet, but he's in this very creative state of mind where he's dreaming about all of the possibilities that could be to come, dreaming about all the beautiful things he's going to pull into his life, and just imagining, just like a child does. So this is also the energy that Spirit wants to shift you out of. It's like you can't, what I'm hearing is you can't really, I don't want to be too restrictive with what I'm saying. It is important that for you guys to work through your subconscious and your psychological tendencies and motives and undercurrents, that you do experience lack, that you do experience not really having anything, and then manifesting it through your thoughts, gaining hope again for life, gaining back an element of daydreaming in your everyday, gaining, hope, a dreaminess, a realization of the possibilities, and an excitement about the future even when nothing is yet in your hands. And you will get to that stage as these experiences come up over and over again. But of course, if you can now, hopefully hearing this reading, if you can start diving into this head first, analyzing every dream and every nightmare you have, I want you to analyze it. In fact, I'm going to start offering on my Etsy shop dream interpretation. Dream interpretation is something that I've been doing longer than I've been doing tarot and astrology. It's something that has come naturally to me as a child, and I'm going to offer that on my Etsy shop. I'll put it up this week. So if you guys need dream interpretation, if you want to go into therapy, for example, journaling, getting some good self-help books, that's really going to ease this process, this cycle for you, and help you get to, the Seven of Cups and the Fool stage much, much quicker. And that's when this is about an expansion of your mentality, an expansion of your mental capacity, like freeing up your subconscious so that there's room for some really good things, some really good energy there, instead of it being clogged with this sort of negative, dark stuff from your past. All right, let's look at the astrological oracle cards first. So we have Mars in Taurus, and that says defense. So you guys could have Mars in the second house, Mars in Taurus, maybe Mars right now. Mars is in Aries right now. It'll go into Taurus come December, January of this year, but okay. And then we have Venus in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and its comfort zone is the ninth house, which is what we brought up here. Okay, the last astrological card is again Sagittarius. Holy crap, you guys. So I'm willing to bet that you guys have some Sagittarius pretty strongly in your charts. And maybe you're dealing with a Pisces. In fact, maybe Spirit has brought a Pisces person into your life specifically to suck the venom out of the wound. And the experiences you're having with this person as of late may feel horrible. But I feel like this Pisces energy is a very important part of this cycle that you're in and that you are working through. Some of you may be, I'm going to throw this out here as well. Let me know in the comments if this is accurate. But I'm feeling that some of you may be Pisces South nodes and Virgo, because remember Virgo is what we pulled here, Virgo North nodes. And it's like you can't step into your North node until you've fully worked out this South node energy and corrected it and balanced it. And once you've done that, man, once you start going towards your North node energy, this Virgo, that's when all this physical material abundance starts pouring in. So this is a very important cycle that you guys are in. Okay, so with Mars and Taurus, which says defense, and Venus and Sagittarius, which says flirtation, and then we have the Sagittarius card as well, I do feel like a relationship I feel like this is very prominently playing out in regards to a specific relationship. It could be a relationship with a foreigner because of the Sagittarius energy, or it could be a long distance relationship because we have the ninth house. And somehow this relationship was brought to you to help heal your subconscious mind. So as far as this Mars in Taurus, which is about being a bit stubborn and being on the defense and not really budging, Mars in Taurus is also about being like very cool, calm, and collected until all of a sudden you just like, it's like very suddenly you're cool, you're cool, you're cool, and then bam, you explode. Especially if you have emotions from the past you haven't dealt with. So that is also what you are working through with this, so that you can truly, Sagittarius, if you guys have this in your chart, Sagittarius is totally about freedom. But you know what? It doesn't matter where you move, where you live. It doesn't matter if you move to another country, if you move 5,000 miles away from the family you were born into. You are never, ever truly free from them, from that past, until you've dug it up emotionally, until you have done the internal work. You can't outrun it. And Spirit really wants to give you freedom. That's what the Fool card is all about. And so that is what you are working through. Okay, the angel that is with you, you have Archangel Metatron. For those of you who don't know, I always say a prayer before I start my readings. Archangel Metatron is someone who has been coming to me for the past few months once I started getting my YouTube channel going. And I call him in before every reading. And he's not my guardian, angel that's been with me since birth, but he's very, very special to me, and he's so, so powerful. So it says, I am united with the source of all goodness, love, and creativity. I feel that Archangel Metatron, he's connected to something called the Akashic Records, which is basically just a fancy word for he has access to everything. Every record of everything you've done in your entire life, he has access to this. So it makes sense that he would be here in this reading, because he's going to be kind of the psychologist, angel that's helping you work through these things. It's pulling up every little memory event that needs to be poured through. And he'll probably do it a lot through dream work or through conversations that you have with others. So definitely open up about your past. And for those of you that really need an actual psychologist, definitely don't replace your psychologist or your therapist with Archangel Metatron. If anything, Archangel Metatron would urge you to find a therapist, find a psychologist, because he will be able to communicate with you directly through that individual. Okay? All right, so for our animal card, you all have the zebra. I haven't pulled this one yet. It says, let go of your fear and know that you are safe and protected at all times. Which that's what, that sums up this right here. This stage of fear in your life. This time of your life is about being I'm going to be honest, it's about being in a low period, in a period of lack. That's exactly the purpose of it. So quite honestly, if that's the stage you are in, a period of lack, then let this reading be confirmation that you are exactly where you are meant to be. You're not doing anything wrong. This is exactly how things were supposed to transpire and work out. And it's because as you work through your fears, as you work through your past, you're going to start manifesting. You're going to clear your mind, clear your subconscious, release your fears, release these odd phobias that I feel like you guys have, and start manifesting with nothing and go from nothing to everything. Okay, so from my healing deck, we have develop stronger concentration. Okay, this card here is all about concentration. This is about being able to close your eyes and imagine everything you want, but not from a state of envy, from a state of anger, like, oh, I wish I had that. Oh, why don't I have that? From a state of literally feeling like you already have it. So I would, if you guys could, this is what I do when I'm manifesting, because, I'll be honest, you guys, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, my kid can't even go to school right now. Everything's closed because of COVID. So I'm homeschooling on top of everything. My husband works from home. It's like I'm cooking and cleaning all day long. And that's just with one kid. And that's with me not having a full-time job. So I completely understand, if you guys don't have time to meditate every day for 10, 15 minutes a day. So I'm going to tell you my hack. This is what I do. At night, I always say a prayer before I fall asleep. Everyone's quiet. No one's going to bother me. No one needs anything. And after I say my prayer, and this is the best time to manifest, is as you're falling asleep. I close my eyes, and just to help myself fall asleep, I start imagining the things I want to manifest. imagining that I'm there in that house that I want, or imagining that I have 1,000 subscribers or whatever it is. And I start really feeling like I'm in that specific day, you know, and that's a form of meditation. That's a form of concentration, and it won't eat up any time out of your day. So I would really dedicate your, right before you go to bed, as you're falling asleep, dedicate some time to concentrating on your goals, on your dreams, on your fantasies. Okay, this last card, this is a subconscious phrase, a negative subconscious phrase that is playing out in your mind that Spirit would like you to consciously replace. So every time you hear this little thought coming in, go and replace it with this one. So let's see what it is. We have, I'm right, they're usually wrong. That goes really, really well with this Mars and Taurus defense card. Okay, let's see what they want you to replace it with. By being objective and having clarity, I know that true wisdom always transcends one person being right and the other wrong. I'm going to read that one more time. By being objective and having clarity, I know that true wisdom always transcends one person being right and the other being wrong. That is exactly what the ninth house is all about. It's about being able to pull yourself away from the details, the Virgo details, and actually see the whole puzzle, actually see the big picture. And then because you're able to pull your, like emotionally detach and pull yourself up above everything, you also see where the end goal is. And you're able to know exactly how to get there. So I do feel like for most of you, this involves a relationship with someone else that's been pulled into your life to help you realize these things, to suck the poison out of your subconscious. So I would just say that before you all communicate with this other person, it could be more than one person. Before you communicate, I would actually maybe write out a letter of kind of what you're wanting to say and why, or just get your thoughts out on a piece of paper or even on your phone. Open up the Notes app. And this is because I have found that once you get something written down and then you reread it, if there's anything that is really extreme or unrealistic or not quite true, you only notice it after you've gotten it written out. And I've done this so many times. When I used to work, you guys, when I had my full-time job, which wasn't that long ago, there were so many times I had to do this. I had to learn the hard way. You know, I used to write the email and then just send it, and then 2-3 days later think, I probably didn't need to send that email. I probably could have just kept my mouth shut about it. It wasn't that big of a deal. Or I wish I wouldn't have, written such a long email. Or now I understand that I was, over exaggerating things in my head. Okay. So then what I started doing as I got more mature was I would write out the email. Like if I really felt like I needed to vent, just get it all out. Everything I needed to say, this isn't fair. And you always ask me to stay in for overtime. Why am I always working the weekends? Whatever it is. And I would say, okay, I'm just going to save the email. I would hit to just save the draft. And I would say, if tomorrow I want to send it, I'll send it tomorrow, but not right now. And every time, guys, not once did I show up to work the next day and reread that email and think, yeah, let me go ahead and send it. Not once. It changed everything. So I really recommend that before you guys communicate with this person or these people, whether it be a boss, an ex, a spouse, a parent, a sibling, that you get your thoughts out in paper form, because I think that will help you kind of untangle this web you two have woven and figure out what the end game is, what the result really is, okay? So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this gave you some answers about this cycle that you're in. Just know if things suck right now, at least you know it was nothing that you did. Like honestly, it's supposed to be a sucky period. But on the other side of this is they're really, really great things. And you're gonna be feeling complete freedom. You're going to feel like this Sagittarius, completely free, not just in location, physical location, but mentally, emotionally. It's going to feel so, so good. So leave me a comment below. Let me know how this resonated, and I will see you all in the next reading. Thank you guys. Love you. Hi, group number 2. Welcome to your reading. You all chose the pile with my very favorite rock. It's this, I call it my third eye rock, and I love it because it's pink and it's hand painted. I bought this at a pagan festival, the first pagan festival I ever went to last year, and there's a coven of pagan women that got together to paint these, and they gave them out for free at the festival. So this rock means a lot to me. I don't consider myself a pagan, but I consider myself a connoisseur of cultures, and that festival was a lot of fun. So anyways, let's start with the astrological die. And as I'm shaking these, I'm going to roll them, and then we're going to take 3 deep breaths just to help us get centered and connected to this reading, just to completely open your third eye, your higher self, so that you can pick up on every message in this reading that is meant for you, okay? So let me roll this, and then we'll take our deep breaths. Okay. All right, don't you feel better? I always do after my 3 deep breaths. Okay, we have the first house of self, of identity, and then we have Saturn, as well as Leo. So you guys may have Leo in your chart, Saturn in the first house, but I feel like this is about really finding your shine, really finding your confidence. You guys may feel very restricted in your ability to express yourself to the world, and you may have big dreams about, maybe your future job or the career that you want involves you being in the spotlight somehow, but you find yourself kind of self-sabotaging or just feeling a lack of confidence or insecurity in your abilities. And so that's the cycle that this reading wants to talk about. And this cycle may be connected to some issues that you have with your father. Leo is ruled by the sun, which is a planet that represents our father. And Saturn also represents our father, our fatherly figure. And even the first house is ruled by Mars traditionally, which is about the male. So I feel like this has to do with a relationship going back to the father or a father figure or men in your life in general, and your confidence. So, okay, let's get into the cards and we'll see what else Spirit wants to talk to you about. We'll do tarot first. So we have 6 of Cups. Look at that, you guys. That is nuts. I love it when this happens. We have a die here with the Leo symbol, and then we have the Leo card, the Strength card. So I do think you guys have Leo prominently in your chart or somewhere special. It could be your midheaven. If it's not your ascendant or your sun or moon sign, it could be your midheaven, because that's your career point. So we have the Strength card, then we have the 3 of Cups. Lots of emotions, and then we have the 5 of Cups. Wow, you guys. Okay, I feel like those of you that chose group number 2, you were born with a very beautiful, expressive energy. Like, I'm seeing you as a child, and it almost makes me well up seeing these images, because you were so expressive, so confident, so lively, just absolutely adorable. And as a child, you never questioned your confidence. I mean, you didn't even know what that concept was. The thought never crossed your mind. But I do see that as you grew, due to some experiences, there is a deep feeling of rejection here. I'm seeing these 2 cards as if they are connected and in the same scene, same setting. And here we have the group of people like partying, having fun, friends, and then this person kind of off to the side, feeling like an outcast, feeling unwanted and unloved. And that's what I feel is going on with you. So you may have had relationships in the past that you've since lost. You may question, what's wrong with you? Why did these people leave me? There must be something wrong with me. And all of that has started to restrict your sun energy, this strength card energy. And I actually see that, so the Strength card is about a balance between our spiritual self and our ego self. We need both in order to operate in the world. In fact, we wanted to come into ego form in order to live this life on earth. If we didn't need or want to experience an ego, then we would have just stayed up in the spiritual realm, because we could have continued growing our soul and our spiritual self, outside of earth. We wanted to experience this ego suit, not to come down here and learn how to conquer it, not to come down here and learn how to deny it and suppress it and make it go away. No, absolutely not. If we wanted that, we would have never incarnated here. We came down here to merge with it, to love it, to adore it, to be in union with it, just like a human is with a pet that they have. And I see that, okay, the lion, the ego, that's the part of us that wants to shine. That's our confidence. That's the part of us that wants to show what we can do, wants to gain skills and talents that we can showcase to the world and maybe make money. That's also an ego sort of thing. Have a career that's just ours. Those are all parts of the ego, great parts of the ego. But the thing is, since your confidence started restricting and started pulling in, you actually started to hate your ego. Absolutely hate it. You started to be embarrassed of your ego. And you started to believe, and I do feel like this has something to do with maybe what your father does for a living, how he is at work, or just how he ran the household at home. You started to believe that the ego is this enemy. It's something that should be shunned. It's stupid. It's silly. And yeah, and it just led to a lot of like inner hatred and animosity. And it's also, causing you a lot of loneliness in your life. It's like even when you're just with yourself, you can't even be at peace when you're with yourself. You can't be at peace when you're with people because you're constantly second guessing everything you do and say, wondering how you're coming across and if you look stupid and this or that. So that doesn't make you feel at peace. So then you think, well, I'm just going to go be by myself because this is too nerve-wracking being around everyone. But then whenever you're by yourself, you're also not at peace because you're in this inner war between your soul and your ego. And neither one of them is happy. They're out of balance. Whew, that was a lot. But okay, let's get into the oracle cards. I want to start with the astrology cards that I pulled. So we have the Pisces card. Beautiful. And then we have Venus in Aries, and this says lust. And another Leo card, Mercury in Leo, and this says drama. So Pisces, it makes sense that the Pisces card came up. You may be Pisces moons or, have it in your chart as well. But Pisces is very much an energy of solitude and also complete disconnect from the ego. Pisces at its worst has no observation of its own ego, no recognition of its own ego, and therefore no boundaries between what makes it a singular person and what makes those others singular people. It just merges with everybody else. It's just, it's a big thing of like nothingness, which is good depending on which context it's being used. But you were meant to come down into this lifetime and have an identity. You were meant to be a person, that person that's on your birth certificate. And so you weren't meant to just blend and become this nothingness. But I also feel that because Pisces is regarded as a very like spiritually woke sort of energy, it's the energy of the guru, that the monk, the nun, the person that can just sit on a mountaintop for 3 months and meditating and not be bothered to eat or drink or sleep. So I do feel like something from your childhood caused you to kind of idolize that sort of take on the energy, which, let me put it this way, there are certain people, I believe, that were called to be an example of that on this earth. Like, Buddha or Gandhi, okay? But that is not the case for you. You guys have this beautiful Leo energy in your chart. Leo is not Pisces. Leo was meant to come down here and show others how to love themselves by you loving yourself. When you are self-expressive and loving of yourself, you are therefore expressive and communicative with others. You make others feel loved. They watch you freely shining, and they all of a sudden feel liberated to shine in their own special way as well. It's a very important gift. So please, please embrace your Leo energy. With this Venus in Aries card and the Mercury in Leo, as well as the Strength card, because the Strength card has another message often as well. When we think we've suffocated our ego, we actually have just blocked it out from our own mind and become very self-unaware. So like, it's kind of like the woman who is with the man and like deep down, like knows he's cheating, but she just turns a blind eye to all of it, and maybe to the point that she's even convinced herself that he's not cheating. Well, just because she's convinced herself that he's not cheating doesn't mean he's not cheating, does it? No, not at all. And she's actually become completely, unaware. She's allowed herself to become unaware. So when we do this with our ego, we don't actually stop our ego from being there. We do the opposite. The ego actually becomes this beast, this uncontrollable beast, because what you've essentially done to it is you've said, no, 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 you don't belong to me. Go away. I'm not taking care of you. I'm not responsible for you. I don't have an ego. And so then what happens when you do that with a lion? Well, it's going to run wild. So it's this weird, thing of like, it's complex and it's very, very, it's very complex and difficult to manage, of course, which is why they depict it in the picture as a lion. But you see, this woman has recognized the lion. She sees the lion. She loves the lion. And the lion is actually very calm for her. She makes sure the lion is fed. She doesn't starve the lion. She makes sure that he's clean, that he's cared for, that he gets his rest that he needs, that he gets to go and play. But she's like a mother to him, or like an owner of a pet. So because I do see that you have like denied this ego self to a certain extent, it's like this is the cause. What I'm talking about is the cause of these relationship dramas that you're having in your life, whether they be things going on at work, between employees, lots of toxic sort of situations with employees, within your marriage, within your love life, with your siblings, with your parents. And I'm not trying to say that the blame is all on you, not at all. What has happened is you have probably attracted a lot of, people that have their own sort of uncontrollable egos and things, and like that they're not keeping an eye on, or that they're at a lower level, a lower vibration. And so when you come together with them, because you're forcing yourself into this Pisces state of just kind of like merging with everyone and everything, you have no boundaries. And so you end up being, I think, very disrespected and misunderstood and by all the people in your life, because you need your ego there. And I think it also leads your ego, because your ego can't come out in a healthy way because it's being shunned or unloved or unwanted. It finds its own little sneaky ways out. And I do feel like there are definitely things that you guys, of course, don't we all? We all have things we look back on and regret. But so if you have any of those moments in your life, just know that that is connected to this cycle that we're talking about today of the ego. And as soon as you start giving your ego some attention and some love and some care and some nurture, you're going to notice those sort of things just don't happen anymore, or don't happen nearly as often, or don't go on for as long. So, okay, let's get into the other oracle cards. I want to see what angel is with you all. We have the guardian angel of service. And this says, I offer the best of my talents. Yes. And goodwill, making my place in the universe a better one. Making my place in the universe a better one. You guys are in a cycle of forming some very concrete boundaries between yourself and others. And this is going to eliminate toxicity in your life. It's going to make you feel more at peace in those moments when you are alone. And it's going to attract some really healthy relationships in. It's going to eliminate a lot of drama, a lot of upheaval that's gone on in your life. And you're going to do this by expressing your talents. I think those of you that chose this group with that Leo energy, you could be great actors, singers, dancers, crafters. You guys could sew. You could be great painters, like writers. There's something very creative about this group that needs to be expressed. It must. It will be your greatest service to the world. Okay, so from my animal deck, we have the Wolverine. And this says, you're a lot tougher than you think you are. Yes, 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 I love that. You are a lot tougher than you think you are. No more underestimating yourself. No more underestimating what you can handle. No more worrying about what sort of situations you're going to get into, because now that you are in a cycle of learning how to set boundaries, you don't need to be worried about what other people are going to do. If they try and do that with you, you got a boundary set without any drama. You live your life in a way that shows people, I have boundaries, I have expectations. I know what I deserve. I love myself. I love others as well. I love you all. And because I want a drama-free, relationship, I'm sure you want that too. Well, these are the things that I need for that. As simple as that. So you are a lot tougher than what you guys realize, for sure, for sure. Okay, let's see what our healing card has to say. Focus on higher truths. I'm actually going to read this card because I have not ever pulled this card out of that deck. So I want to know what it has to say. So let me flip to the page real quick and see. Okay, decipher between what is temporary and what is eternal. Whilst your truth constantly changes as you learn new things, it's important to develop a student-like mind and to spend some of your day reaching for a higher truth. Thus, building your soul's strength and cleansing your spirit will not only serve you in this life, but also in future incarnations. To open the door to higher truths requires you to develop a deep desire for spiritual wisdom. This can take place by asking profound questions such as, what is the difference between my soul and my spirit? Where did I come from? And who were the beings involved in creating this physical reality? What is the role of the angels? Where do I go after I die? And how can I learn more about it? The most important question you can ask is, what do I need to work on in this life that creates eternal forces, and what is temporary and passes away? This takes you out of a state of worry and into a real place of exploration. Beautiful. Okay, I was getting a bunch of messages through that card, so I want to talk about a few things. I think that this has a lot to do with, it's talking about what's eternal and what's temporary. I do feel like with this Pisces energy, which is very mutable and boundaryless, I think you guys have had many, many identities in this lifetime. I think you guys attempt to or feel forced to conform over and over and over again. It'll either be that you're conforming over and over again, or you're completely defying over and over again. I feel like it's a back and forth, like it's a very high and low energy. This is what you guys go through. And this cycle is about learning to get the line like this instead of it being like this. Because both the ego and the soul have to be expressed. So if you're restricting one, it's only a matter of time before it bursts out, and then you're going up, and then you restrict it again and it goes way down, and it's exhausting. So this cycle is about learning to get the line to just be going straight across, completely balanced. So I think you guys are going to be, especially with this first house, you're uncovering what your true core identity is beneath all the expectations people have of you, beneath what society perceives as cool or this or that, and really finding out what is you. And also, that card talked about how we need to focus on this lifetime creating something that will become eternal, right? And I want you to think about some people that you learned about maybe in history, or even celebrities, people who made a big difference in the world that were important to you, that you really admire when you look back on. Those people had to utilize their talents to get to where they were. They had to utilize their talents, their force, and their ego to make a profound, everlasting difference in the world, to touch the hearts and the lives of people for generation after generation. And that's exactly what that card is talking about. It is not more spiritual to live your life kind of in the shadows, not really forming an identity, kind of just shunning away your talents and your confidence. That is not more spiritual than getting up on the stage, singing, a beautiful song that you wrote from your heart and bringing tears to the eyes of the crowd, or whatever it is. Those type of moments, those are the moments that are eternal. And that is what your life is trying to become through this cycle. So I do feel like those of you that chose pile number 2, Spirit is going to be bringing you opportunities to put yourself in the spotlight that you need to say yes to. Say yes to it, please. And then let me know where it's at, and I'll show up and I'll cheer you on. Because that's all a part of this cycle, okay? So foster some belief in yourself. Enjoy the limelight. You're supposed to. We're meant to. Okay, the last card is a subconscious phrase, a negative subconscious phrase that's been playing out in your mind over and over and over, and Spirit wants you to replace it, and it will give us the phrase that you need to replace it with. So when you notice this sort of phrase or train of thought coming in, go, and immediately replace it with this other one. Okay, so this says, love is blind. If I love someone, I tend to put them on a pedestal, see only their gifts and talents, and put a blind eye to their difficult side. That sounds a lot like that metaphor I brought up earlier in this reading. I want to read that one more time. This is the negative phrase. Love is blind. If I love someone, I tend to put them on a pedestal, see only their gifts and talents, and put a blind eye to their difficult side. Okay, Spirit wants you to replace it with this. For good and bad, in sickness and in health, I love myself and others unconditionally. For good and bad, in sickness and in health, I love myself and others unconditionally. And what that means is, if you are aware slightly, or if it's your responsibility to become aware of something bad that an important person in your life is doing towards you, and you're deciding to not address it, that's not loving them unconditionally, because they need to be pulled out of that cycle of bad behavior as well. And you don't do that by taking on the role of the savior or becoming their therapist or this or that. You do it by saying, you have crossed a boundary. And if this doesn't change, I've got to go. You know why? Because I love myself too much to put up with this, and I love you too much to watch you do this to me. You deserve better than that. You deserve more for yourself. Your standards for yourself need to be higher. So this is my boundary. I love you. I will always love you and care about you, and that is why I have to do this. And I love myself too much too. So that's the approach that you need to take with this, not just in love life, but even in friendships. I feel like a lot of you have had some friends that have done you dirty, even in work life with coworkers, with bosses. I feel like because you guys kind of have this no boundaries sort of thing, it's very easy for you to end up being taken advantage of. And I think that a lot of times your bosses don't even realize that, like, you put on a front of like, yeah, I would love to do the extra 8 hours this weekend. Okay, sure. So they don't even realize. I don't even feel like they would have a problem being like, oh, you don't want to work the extra 8 again this weekend? Okay, we can get Kathy to do it. It's like you're worried about it. So this is a phase of growing some really thick boundaries and absolutely falling in love with all of you, your ego, your soul, both of them, and nurturing them and taking care of them. And I can't wait to see you guys shine at your concerts, on your book tour, like whatever, on YouTube, whatever it is you're doing, Instagram. Anyways, let me know down in the comments below how this reading resonated. I hope it got you excited. I'm a Leo sun, so I am very into this energy, and it's like I want to grab your hand and just run and start going. You know, I'll be there to cheer you on. So yeah, anyways, let's get a combo started in the comments, and I will see you guys at the next reading. Love you. Hi, pile number 3, and welcome to your reading. I actually pulled the rock off of your pile. Oh my gosh. You guys had this one, right? I can't believe I don't remember which rock your pile. Yes, okay. This was the rock that you chose. It was either this one or my beautiful smoky quartz, but I think this one was up front. I'm so sorry. I moved the pile and I was ready to begin, and then I lost my rock. But anyways, pile number 3. Before we get started, let's calm ourselves, calm our subconscious, open our third eye, open our higher self, and get connected to this reading through a few deep breaths that I'm going to take with you just to help myself get centered as well, okay? Okay, I already feel better. Do you? All right, so today we're going to dig into a cycle, a phase of your life that you're in. You wonder where it begins, where it ends, how to get out of it. I want to start by rolling the astrological die. That'll help give us kind of an overall theme for the reading. So let me do that first. Okay, we have Cancer, as well as the moon, which rules Cancer, and the 7th house, which is about marriage, one-on-one relationships, the shadow self, the other. And Cancer and the moon are both about the mother. So you guys may be mothers. This may be about a one-on-one relationship you have with your mother, or as a mother with your children. But this is very much about your emotions, your ability to nurture, to receive nurture. I do feel like since we have the 7th house, this is about your emotional availability for others and the way you are able to nurture others in your life. So let's go ahead and get into the tarot and see if we can expand on this message. So we have the 10 of Wands, the Four of Cups, the Page of Swords, and the Seven of Swords. Okay, this is the first pile that did not have a major arcana card come out. So this isn't so much like a cycle that is occurring in the spiritual realms or in a spiritual sense. This is more about some concrete things occurring in your day-to-day physical life, a cycle that's irritating or bothering you that you want to investigate and clear, you want to clear some things up. So I do feel, first of all, that you guys feel very overburdened, very overburdened. This could be overburdened at work, just overburdened with, chores, cleaning, cooking, or taking care of others, or with your own tasks. Maybe there's something that you're after, like a career objective or a goal. Maybe you are in college, for example, but juggling that with work and with a love life and with other relationships. And so you're overburdened with your own goals and activities, and so much so that there's no way you could possibly be there for the other people in your life. And with this Four of Cups, as well as this Page of Swords, you guys may be an air sign. This is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy. You could be Cancer, or this reading could be about a Cancer in your life and, or an air sign. But it's interesting. It feels like you guys are actually, with all three of these cards, it feels like you are very, very busy keeping a watchful eye on a lot of people in your life. And it's interesting because notice this woman is, looking. Where is she looking? Yeah, no. I see her looking at this gentleman sitting under the tree, but therefore, because she's turned her head this way, she can't see this guy sneaking off. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you that chose this pile have like several children, or maybe there's several employees that you're in charge of at the moment or something like that. But it feels like you came to this reading because you're like, how can I possibly keep up with all this? And I know that I can't. I feel very weighed down. So what is the answer? Because I can't just stop doing that task. I can't just stop doing that. And I know that I'm failing at all the things I am handling because it's too much. So it's like you don't know what you are even able to cut out of your life. And you also feel responsible for a lot of these other people in your life. And because of that responsibility, it's like, well, I can't just stop, taking care of them or doing this for them. That's not an option. So am I meant to just be juggling all of this stuff on my own till the end of time? Or what is the answer here? You could have older children, teenagers that are, giving you trouble, or be dealing with homeschooling right now during the COVID-19 epidemic. I'm there with you on that. Or this could have to deal with just trust issues that you have with others to, handle their own responsibilities. Maybe they've proven to you that you can't trust them. So, but I do feel that you're very, very exhausted trying to mother everyone as well as yourself. Let me pull out the astrological cards and we can get more in depth on this message. Okay, so we have the Libra card, which Libra rules the 7th house, which is the die that we pulled up here. And it rules over, it's all about balance. And Libra is an air sign. So where Cancer is a very emotional sign, Libra is, a very mental sign. And Libra needs balance. It needs harmony in order to survive. So if you guys are Libras or have that in your chart, maybe Libra moon, rising, sun, then I can definitely understand why what you're doing isn't going to work for very long. You can't be out of balance. That's not going to work. Okay, the other astrological cards we have are Mercury in Cancer. So that's more Cancer energy, as well as Venus in Pisces. And this says submission. The Mercury in Cancer says intuition. So, okay, I feel like the message with this card is, I do think that there are some tasks that you guys have put on yourself. No, I'm not going to say that. There is energy that you guys are spending kind of investigating or just keeping a watchful eye on things that is not needed. Because with that Mercury in Cancer card, it says intuition. Cancer is very intuitive. Someone that's very intuitive doesn't need to waste extra time constantly checking everything. Because Cancer is intuitive enough that if something is off, they'll feel it and then they'll know to go check it. They don't need to waste all this energy double, triple, quadruple checking all day long. So I feel like that needs to stop because that's going to save you a lot of time. Trust your intuition a little bit more. You guys may be the type that check your bank account 30 times a day just to check every transaction that's come through. Like, it almost feels very Virgo, even though we don't have any Virgo here. And with the Venus in Pisces, this says submission. You know, this is also about kind of like relinquishing control, submitting to what the universe is handing you. And I think that this cycle is all about becoming more efficient and effective as a person. So the universe has purposely thrown you a lot of things to handle so that you can learn these little tricks, tapping into your intuition so that you're no longer wasting 80% of your energy doing things that your intuition can take care of. You know, like what I was saying about triple checking or hovering. That's going to make you a more effective, more efficient person. It's going to allot you more time in your life for more productive activities and things. It's going to balance out your work and home life. And with the Venus in Pisces submission, the best thing you can do in this situation is to relinquish as much control as possible. Anything that is truly under you to handle, find the most efficient way to handle it. Find a way to handle it that takes the least amount of time. If there is someone else in your life that you can delegate this task off to or teach it to, like let's say, for example, that this is about the kids being at home and they don't know how to clean the way you like the house cleaned. You don't want to spend the energy teaching them, so you're just going to do it yourself, and you're constantly clean. What with this submission card, what the universe wants you to do is to actually grit your teeth, teach the kids how to clean the house, accept that, yes, it's not going to look perfect because they're still in a learning phase with this, but just submitting to what is in regards to that, taking that task off your back, putting it onto them, and realizing, okay, it's not going to be absolutely perfect, but okay, I'll submit. This is what it's going to be for a while. And then the more that they do it, the better they'll get, etc., etc. So, and I could only imagine that the universe wants to teach you this efficiency and this effectiveness because it has something new it wants to bring into your life. In fact, I'm seeing that with this here. But until you actually have time to go sit down underneath the tree and wait for the universe to hand this to you, it can't come. So there's something important the universe wants to make room for. So that's why it's doing this to you. But maybe some of the other cards will talk about that. It could have to do with marriage or partnership of some sort, or, you know, a new child, if that's what you have been wanting. Definitely something new. Okay, the angel that's with you is Archangel Raphael. And this says, I am strengthened and healed by the power of divine love. I am strengthened and healed by the power of divine love. Archangel Raphael is the angel in the Bible that came to Mary and I think Elizabeth or Sarah, when she was pregnant. So yeah, the universe is trying to bring you something new, and it could literally be a child, but it's the birth of some sort of new creation, but you have to have time for it. And right now you very clearly don't. But they're teaching you through this cycle to be very, very effective and very intuitive so that you're wasting less time. That's what this all is about. So don't worry, you're definitely capable of whittling your task list down and creating more time for yourself. You are definitely capable of that. That's the exact direction the universe wants you to go in. So allow that. Just try it out at least. Give yourself some extra time. Okay, from the healing deck, we have minimize guilt. Okay, maybe this is the reason you guys are so nitpicky and anxiety-ridden and double-checking everything. There might have been something in your past or a time in your past where you felt that you dropped the ball by not hovering, and so therefore you decided to kind of overcorrect it by now always hovering and never dropping the ball on anything. But that's all connected to a feeling of guilt that stems from your past and is not needed anymore. As long as you're being effective and efficient, you're not dropping the ball on anything. You definitely don't need to waste your time, especially not just out of guilt. So the universe wants you to forgive yourself. You need to go back and think, where did this connect from? Because I know everyone else in my life isn't like this. No one else in my life hovers like this or needs to double, triple check all the details. So if this reading's telling me it's connected to guilt, what moment was it? Or what moments are they? And take some time to sit down and think through that, and then truly forgive yourself so that you can move forward and know that you don't have anything back from the past that's affecting how you are right now. From our animal deck, we have the grouse, which looks like some sort of small bird. Express yourself through rhythm and movement by drumming and dancing, which that just makes me think of the phrase, you need to loosen up. Loosen up a little bit. Dancing could be a really good way for you guys to do that, but I feel like the message of the card is about just being a bit more fluid, adding a little bit more motion, a little bit more stretch, leniency to your life, being a bit more flexible, and because all of that's going to make you a more effective, efficient individual. And it's going to create a life that's more effective, efficient, and balanced. Okay, so the last card we have is going to tell us a negative subconscious phrase that has been playing out in your mind and what Spirit wants you to replace it with. So we have, I have trouble making decisions, so I must find someone strong and competent to help me. I have trouble making decisions, so I must find someone strong and competent to help me. Let me read what you need to replace it with, and then I'm going to get into the meaning of this. Okay, so you need to replace this thought with, sometimes I can discover more of my own intellectual gifts and talents by making a decision alone, without someone else's input. One more time. Sometimes I can discover more of my own intellectual gifts and talents by making a decision alone, without someone else's input. I feel like a lot of you might be... either you are, I think a lot of you may be single moms that are handling a lot between all the kids and the job and finances. And I feel like some of you may be in a partnership or a marriage where perhaps the husband is gone a lot or is more lenient and easygoing. So you feel like that. So there could be like resentment that your spouse is so just kind of whatever, like you feel now the pressure to like make all these decisions by yourself, or it could be that you literally just don't have someone there. And so what you do is every time you feel overwhelmed and then you become angry and resentful that you feel overwhelmed, that you have all these things, because in your subconscious, you're saying this is all because my partner isn't good enough to make these decisions with me, or this is all because I don't have a partner. If I had a partner, all of this would be better. All of this would be different. So Spirit, for those of you who don't have a partner, Spirit is trying to bring you one, but not because it wants you to feel, not because you don't want to get into a marriage or a partnership just because you need help with your day-to-day tasks. That's not true love, right? And Spirit knows you are capable of handling what's on your plate. So Spirit wants you to learn how to streamline your life, and it is planning on bringing you a partner. Now, for those of you who are already partnered, already married, Spirit wants you to realize that you can handle everything you have on your plate, or you can delegate it effectively and make these decisions yourself. And then your marriage life, your partnership, is also going to improve because all this resentment and anger that you're holding towards them is going to dissipate and go away, because you're going to feel like your life is back in balance. So this was honestly this is very overwhelming, guys. I must admit, like my face is even flushed right now just because I can see all of the tasks and all of the things and everything you guys are carrying. And I feel like it's a lot. You guys are not weak. You are not complaining just to complain. Not at all. Spirit is acknowledging here that, yeah, there is a lot on your shoulders. But this is about a cycle of learning how to balance it out effectively and handle it so that Spirit can make room for something new and exciting in your life. So look forward to that. And so I hope this reading helped you guys in some way, helped relieve you a little bit. Make out the list of all these things that are giving you a headache, and then beside those things, write out a solution. Just put it on a piece of paper. It makes it so much easier. Who can you delegate it to? What can you eliminate from your life? How can you spend your time more wisely? Whatever it is, write it out on paper. It's going to clear your head. It's going to help you move forward. And leave me a comment below and let me know how this resonates, what you're working on, what you're working towards. And I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye. Hi, pile number 4. You all chose the citrine stone. It's so beautiful. And I want to get into this reading with you and see, what cycle is playing out in your life, where it begins, where it ends, how you can end it. So I want to start by just getting ourselves centered and connected to the reading and to the message, to your guides, to my guides, opening our third eye, our higher self, by taking 3 deep breaths. And I'm going to take these with you, okay? So let's go. All right, do you feel centered? I do. I'm ready to go. Okay, I want to roll my astrological die. This will help give us kind of an overall feel for the reading, what area of life this is affecting for you, how it's affecting you. So let's see. Okay, we have the 11th house, the South Node, and Taurus. Okay, so the 11th house is about the groups we're involved in. This includes a lot of the time like online groups and websites that we're associated with. It also includes like kind of our hopes and dreams for our future, the communities, like the larger communities that we want to help advance or progress. So this is like big, these are some really big energies that involve you and like a crowd of people is what I'm feeling. And with the South Node and Taurus, when the South Node is in Taurus, that is about your comfort zone being one that doesn't change. Your comfort zone is when things are unmovable and don't shift and don't change and don't evolve and stay the same and stay secure and stay stable. So I feel like this cycle is going to be very much about moving towards the flow of life, becoming a bit more malleable, shapeable, and really being able to conquer life and conquer these amazing goals that you have, because you know now how to take what life throws at you. You know how to move along with it. You know how to take the best circumstance out of every shift, out of every change. And this could also be about getting more connected to your intuition and your emotions and taking some risks even. This could be about taking some risks. But let's get into the rest of the cards and see what else Spirit wants to say. So we have the Page of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so with Taurus, Page of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, this, you guys probably have earth signs prominently in your chart. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Then we have the Temperance card. This is Sagittarius energy. And you guys could be Sagittarius midheavens, just as an example. Or you could be like an earth sign rising, and then maybe Sagittarius sun or moon. And then we have Ace of Swords. This is very interesting. I do feel like you guys are, if you're not already, you are meant to move towards the beginning stages of something. With the South Node in Taurus, I think there's a certain career or area of mastery that you conquered early on in your life or got stuck into or thrown into somehow, but it's not, even though it's stable, even though it provides you with a consistent income, it's not connected to your purpose. And Spirit is asking you to take that risk, because it's going to fulfill your soul on a very deep level. And you will, yes, it feels like a gamble, it feels risky, but you know this is your passion. And when you are connected to your soul and to your passion, you make money. So this Queen of Pentacles, this is where you are meant to be. So take that risk, start that new course of study, or enroll in that college, or add that certificate to your resume, whatever it is. There's something you're supposed to start fresh in as a student. Something you're supposed to be beginning. And it may take you may have to, take a cut to your finances in order to do it. You may have to spend a lot of money in order to invest in this course of study, this new plan of action, but it will pay off. So if that's what's holding you back, don't let that hold you back anymore. This will pay off. And I do see that you guys are going to be you're going through a major healing period. With these 2 cups, this to me is signifying the balance between your North Node and your South Node. Check where the North and South Node is in your chart, what sign it's in. Read up about it, because you're not meant to go to either extreme, okay? The South Node comes more natural to you. It's more comfortable to you. North Node is more foreign, more unknown, but also more fulfilling. And it's not about going to either extreme. It's about balancing the two. And that's exactly what Spirit wants you to do. So, if your South Node's in Taurus, for example, or in the second house, Spirit's not wanting you to make stupid, crazy, risky decisions. And you know that your talent in this lifetime, if your South Node is in Taurus or in the second house, you are naturally talented and gifted with being able to stabilize your life, with being able to make smart, calculated decisions, with being able to keep your life very concrete and unchanging. So trust yourself a little more. That's a natural talent of yours, even if you don't have those placements. If you chose this pile, that's a natural gift that you have. So by taking this risk, you're not doing something crazy and stupid. That's not what Spirit wants you to do. This is a decision that's going to upgrade your life, that's going to move you into a better future. With this Ace of Swords, I do see that I really feel like you guys need to cut a certain job or activity out of your life entirely to make room for this new degree, this new area of interest that you're meant to move forward in. And swords are very much about thought, communication, study. So that's what you were meant to be doing right now. Comment below. Let me know what course of study or job this is that you guys are interested in. Maybe I'll see as I get more into, the cards. So from my astrological decks, we have Saturn in Gemini, and this says concentration. Gemini is all about study and learning. Then we have Sun in Sagittarius. So you guys and that is crazy, you guys. Oh my God. Okay, I forgot to mention here. Sagittarius is the sign of the bachelor's degree, the master's degree. Gemini is the sign of like the certificate, the high school diploma, okay? You guys have both of them here. You have Saturn in Gemini, and you have Sun in Sagittarius. So this to me says there's something you are meant to study, soak up all the details and information on, and become a master of it and a teacher to others. You guys may be interested in teaching of some sort, whether it's as a college professor, a high school teacher, as a YouTuber that does like how-to tutorials, or even like just upgrading your position in your current job, like getting that degree so that you can become the manager, for example, or the VP. So, and you need to get excited about it. With this Sun in Sagittarius, you are going to be excited about it because I feel like you already know exactly what this is. It does excite you. You are passionate. In fact, I think you spend time thinking and studying this thing without I don't think you tell others about it, or I don't think, you take all the free information that you can without leaving the job and taking the risk and moving towards it like seriously. So it's time to really move towards this. I'm really excited for you guys because if you've been doubting yourself, which I feel like you have, I hope and pray that this reading gives you that boost, that confirmation to like, yes, go for it, do it. Absolutely. Okay, the other two astrological cards we have are Neptune and Pluto. Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio. And if your South Node is in Taurus, your North Node is in Scorpio. And Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, which is all about the 12th house. You guys, I know who you guys are. Comment below if this resonates. I feel like you guys are wanting to become spiritual teachers, maybe astrologers, tarot readers, either on YouTube, Etsy, like wherever. I feel like you guys are my people, right? You know what? My South Node is not in Taurus, but it's in the second house, which I feel like you guys already know Taurus rules that house. My North Node is in the 8th house of, the Scorpio house. And I completely resonate with all of this. Absolutely. I had mastered the banking industry for 7 years. I was involved in finance, loans, like the accounting, money, all of it, when I felt this calling to move towards this new course of study, to move towards my North Node. It was so scary because I was in a dual income household. Like me and my husband's bills, we had to have both of our incomes in order just to keep our bills covered. It wasn't an option for me to leave my job. But I'll tell you what I did in case you guys are in a similar situation. We sold our home. We took everything that we made off the sale of our home and put it towards paying off any sort of debts that we had that were raking up our bills. Then we, of course, pulled my daughter out of daycare because I was able to be at home with her. And then we did have to get very, very strict with our budget. We were very used to kind of spending freely as we wanted. So we did have to go onto a budget. You guys, it was so worth it. It pays off. Whenever you're connected to your purpose, it pays off. If you guys have this calling in your heart to help lead humanity towards something better, go for it. You will not regret it. I promise. I promise. Please comment below. I'm so curious. If you guys have a YouTube channel of your own that you're starting, I want to follow it. Let me know. I will subscribe. Okay, the angel you guys have with you is the angel of forgiveness. This says, I choose to forgive all those who have hurt me in the past. So I feel like the job that you guys have been in for up until, well, you're still in it, I think. I think that you guys didn't really have an option. I feel like something happened in your life whenever you were younger that just kind of thrust you into a particular industry or career. And you were still holding on to a lot of resentment, either because you feel like it was all your fault that you ended up in that situation. You feel like it was the fault of others who didn't help, who should have. There's something that needs to be forgiven here, because so you guys can realize that this was all part of the divine plan. You weren't meant to just walk in this career that you guys are idolizing and wanting to go after. You weren't meant to just go into that career immediately. It was all a part of the plan to start out in one area of life and then completely renew yourself, completely transform. You know, that's what Pluto is all about, death and rebirth, and then be reborn into this new career, this new life, because that's exactly the message you guys are going to be speaking on to others. That's the inspiration behind all of it. If you were just born into, you know, the guru lifestyle or born into tarot reading or astrology, that then you wouldn't be able to inspire all the many other people on this planet who are completely disconnected from their soul but are too scared to move towards it. You're going to be that source of inspiration for them to be like, okay, she did it, he did it. Okay, I'm going to do it. This is scary, it's risky, but I'm going to do it. That is what you guys are meant to be. Okay, from the animal deck, we have the seagull. And this says, now is the time for deep emotional healing. Absolutely. So this forgiveness is not just connected to the mental things of what happened and why, but very much the emotions that connect back into it. Temperance, this is a card of healing. This is what you were going through. The imbalance you guys have with your South Node and your North Node is connected to issues from your past that made you very fearful, very scared to let go, to relinquish control, to move into risky territory. There are things that need to be worked through and healed in this cycle in order to make you more trusting in the universe and help you to understand how to make a balance between the South Node and the North Node, between both of them. And it could have to do, I do feel like a lot of you had two parents who were very imbalanced. I think one of them represented like the Scorpionic North Node and one of them represented the Taurusy South Node. They were complete polar opposites, but I do feel like they both expressed their energies in like a toxic, unhealthy way. So what I feel like you did as a child is you looked at both and you kind of picked one that you thought like did a better job at handling life, which was the Taurus, even though they were expressing it unhealthily and it was very extreme. You picked that, and then you were like, okay, I guess I'm going to go for this one because I don't want to be like that parent because that life looks crazy and unsettling. And then you've clung to it without working back through everything and realizing that even that parent that you kind of chose to model your life after is very imbalanced as well. There needs to be a union of both, okay? And I do think that for most of you, your parents probably divorced or something happened to make you think subconsciously there was no way to unionize the both. It's not possible. I have to choose one total extreme or the other total extreme. These two things don't marry together. There is no such thing as a balance between these two. That's a subconscious conditioning from watching this relationship play out, but it's not truth. So you're going through an emotional healing. You're going to work through all of these things and you're going to find the balance and the center. And that's when you're going to, start moving towards that 11th house and gaining your fans and, gaining your popularity, your support, your aids to your mission. Okay, from our healing deck, we have It's a No. This is about the job and direction that you have been in up until this point for however many years. Okay, that card always comes out as a confirmation in any reading that I do that you can't keep going down that path. You are never going to seek fulfillment. You're never going to have fulfillment in that path if you keep taking it. Some of you may think, well, maybe if just this little thing at work changed, or maybe if I worked at a different company, or maybe, once my boss retires and I get a new boss, maybe then I'll start liking it. Maybe it's just these little things. It's not. You guys are meant for a totally different sort of path, okay? And I also think you guys need to, if you've been having a really tough time in life or at work, feeling like, why can't I just feel fulfilled in this? Why am I so selfish? Why am I so needy? Why am I not strong enough to do this thing? Like, so many other people have this career and this job. So many people are envious of me because of the career and the job that I have. And like beating yourself up because you're like, why can't I just be happy? Why can't I be grateful? What's wrong with me? It's because you are not meant to be in that path. Spirit is trying to make you go insane in this path that you're at so that you finally switch course. As soon as you do that, you're going to feel this weight lifted off of you. And everything else is going to come so much easier for you. So just submit to it. Follow that calling. Okay, the last card that we have is going to tell us a negative subconscious phrase that's been playing out in your mind and what phrase Spirit wants you to replace it with. So, you guys, I just love when the cards line up so well. I don't look at these before I do the reading. Okay, so the negative subconscious phrase is, I don't know what my true life calling is. I don't know what my true life calling is. Some of you I'm going to read the replacement phrase here in a second. Some of you may be very young still. Maybe you're in the midst of college and maybe you've started a course of study and you just don't like it, but you want to force yourself into it because it's going to bring you the money that you want. It's going to bring you a stable life. You guys need to stop looking at what you should do for a living based on how much money it's going to earn and the comfortable life it will be able to give you physically. And you need to start looking at what is it that you need emotionally, what emotionally excites you. And I think for a lot of you, it's scorpionic sorts of things. Maybe you're a Scorpio midheaven. So I bet a lot of you like to sit and watch like murder mystery TV shows, like anything that's very like psychological. I think you guys really love that, and you need to be in a field that allows you to express that sort of investigative, deep, emotional, dark sort of energy. It could even be through psychology, or it could be through becoming an astrologer, becoming a forensic scientist, an investigator, a detective, a tarot reader, a psychic, whatever it is, but you guys need to be able to express that sort of darker, murky, like investigative energy. And the only reason that you don't know what your true life calling is, if you don't, is because you are, unless a career objective falls into makes a lot of money, you don't even consider it an option. I feel like you guys have so many things that you absolutely are passionate about, but you don't consider it in your career options because you think, well, yeah, I love that, but that's not going to make me money, or there's no guarantee that'll make me money. For some of you, another great sort of investigative, like sort of energy, baking. And I know a lot of people wouldn't think that, but baking requires a lot of like precision and ingredients, chemistry as well, maybe something you guys are interested in. But it needs to stop being about what's going to bring me money and stability, and instead, what do I absolutely love? What excites me? What am I just obsessed with? That's what you need to move towards. Okay, now let's look at the phrase that we need to replace this with. Through contemplation, introspection, and completion, I can find out what my next step and true calling is. By attending to details and organizing my life, my vocation will become clear. I'm going to read that one more time. Through contemplation, introspection, and completion, I can find out what my next step and true calling is. By attending to details and organizing my life, my vocation will become clear. So for those of you who haven't realized what your vocation is yet, you definitely need to know that what you've chosen up to this point is a no. And you guys are really meant to do a complete 180 on what you think you're meant to be doing as far as your career goes. For those of you already in your career that have just been desperate to leave, take this as a sign to start making those plans for an exit now. You are meant to move towards your purpose, which doesn't have anything to do with money. Money will come with it, right? You will be stable. Don't worry about that. Remember, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Walk towards your purpose. Comment below. Let me know what career you guys are in. If you've got a YouTube channel, I would love to follow it and show you guys some support, or subscribe, I guess. And I will see you all in the next reading. I love you. Bye. Hi, group number 5, and welcome to your reading. I just had to step away from my phone to let my cat inside. She was out on the balcony chasing the bugs, but she wanted back in. Sometimes she does try to hop up on the table and onto the cards in the middle of my readings. So at some point you may notice the film cut so that I can take her and maybe put her up in my bedroom instead. But I want to leave her down here if I can. Okay, let's get into your reading. You all chose the lovely labradorite stone. So beautiful. It has that iridescent sort of glow to it. And it's all about like spirituality and imagination and creativity. And I do want to take a moment to just breathe in 3 deep breaths together so that way we can get connected to this reading, open up our third eye, connect to our guides, our subconscious, all of it. So let's go ahead and start with that. Okay, I'm ready. I want to start with the astrological die. This will help give us kind of an overall feel for the reading, what area of life this cycle is affecting you and how. So let's take a look. Okay, we have Taurus again. We had Taurus for the last pile. So if you guys felt drawn to pile number 4 as well, you may want to take a peek. Okay, so we have Taurus, the 10th house, and Neptune. We had Neptune in the last reading as well, so this may be similar, but let me try and disconnect from that one so I can take a peek at this. Okay, so this is going to be about your career with the 10th house. And I do see that you guys are interested in a career that makes a lot of money. But with Neptune there, you know, Neptune's very spiritual. So this career choice, it's going to have to be a balance between kind of what you physically want and materially want and the spiritual gifts that you all have. Taurus is very artistic, okay? It's a very artistic sign. It's ruled by Venus, as is Neptune. A lot of times Neptune in the 10th house signifies like acting possibilities or modeling, because Neptune is all about fantasy. So this may be about, this cycle for you may just be a cycle of feeling disillusioned about your career and where to go and how to move forward. But I'm going to need to get into the other tarot cards to get a deeper understanding, because I am feeling a lot of the same energy here as I did in the previous pile. So let's take a look at the differences. Okay, we have Queen of Cups. So you could be a Cancer, Scorpio, or a Pisces. We have 2 of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles, nice, and 7 of Wands. Okay, so with this Queen of Cups, I feel like you guys have water in your chart somewhere important. But with this Queen of Pentacles and with this 2 of Pentacles is about juggling 2 different things. Oh, there's Moon. Moon, you can't be up here. All right, I had to go ahead and put Moon out. She likes the lights too much on the table. Okay, so as I was saying, with this Queen of Cups and this 2 of Pentacles is about juggling 2 different ideas, 2 different options, maybe even juggling 2 different jobs. And it does look like you are, ideally, you want to get down to one. Like you want to choose an option, or you want to simplify your life somehow. And I do feel like you're going to need to go with your gut in order to do it if that's the case. Queen of Cups is a very good intuition. So I do feel like if you tap in, you will intuitively know what decision to make. So you've had 2 offers come at you for something, or you are back and forth between 2 jobs. There's 2 choices. It is related to your security in some way. And you don't know what decision to make. That's what it feels like. Or maybe you've just recently made a decision, but you're already wondering if it was the wrong one. And with the 7 of Wands, I do see that this may boil down to I think you may need to put yourself out there. So for example, maybe you guys are juggling 2 different jobs, and then the reason you can't decide between the 2 different jobs is because neither one of them is the option for you. And the only reason you're sticking with those 2 is because you're comfortable with them. You know how much money they bring in. Okay, and so maybe what you need to do is you need to start sending out the resumes, okay, putting yourself out there and finding a new job that's different from the 2 options that you have now. Because this card is really about, like, it can often come out when people are sending out resumes, needing to put themselves out there, needing to, fight and compete against others to gain their recognition. So let's see, let's get into the other cards and take a look at this. So from the astrological cards, we have Jupiter in Libra, and this says negotiation. Jupiter in Scorpio, which says manipulation. And then we have Mars. Interesting. Okay, so I just got another message. For some of you, I think this cycle is actually about you constantly being overlooked for promotions and for raises, and you wondering, when am I going to get the financial recognition that I deserve? What the heck is going on? That could be what this is about. This could be that raise or that promotion that you're wondering, and it just keeps getting put off and put off and put off. So if that's the case, with this negotiation card, this manipulation card, which these are both cards of Jupiter, this card right here, this is Jupiter. The meaning of this card is Jupiter in Capricorn. And then we have two other astrological cards that mean Jupiter. Jupiter is about expansion and luck, expansion of finances, growth of finances, luck in finances, abundance in finances. In Scorpio and in Libra, manipulation, negotiation. Mars is the planet of self-assertion, of our power, of our aggressiveness, of us being a bit, self-centered and fighting for what we want. Just like this card is all about fighting for what you want. This is what this phase is about for you guys. This cycle, this phase of your life, the reason it keeps looping back around is because you are learning how to get the recognition that you seek by fighting for it, by standing up for yourself, by calling these people out, by saying what it is you don't agree with, by telling them that you need more money and here's why, you deserve this promotion and here's why. So Mars can be very angry and temperamental and combative and aggressive. And being too much that way isn't going to get you what you want. That could get you fired. That could make your superiors really not like you and therefore not want to do things in your favor. So you want this Mars energy, but you want it with this Libra and Scorpio energy of negotiation and manipulation. So you are going to make it look like, here we have Jupiter and Libra. Libra is the opposite of Aries, which is what this Mars card is about. Aries only thinks about itself, okay? Libra always thinks about the other. So you're going to do this by really coming across, at least, like you truly care about, what's fair, what's balanced, about the other person. But what you're actually doing is you are pulling the strings to manipulate things in your favor because you recognize what you deserve, and you do truly deserve it. I'm gonna absolutely say that because you were purposely put into this situation by Spirit for this learning phase, for this growth you're going to gain. The ability to assert yourself, stand up for yourself, get what you want, get what you deserve. So you do deserve this, and you deserved all the other things that you got passed up on too, because you've been in the same cycle for a long time. Spirit wants you to graduate, to go to the next level. The only way to do it is to use your skills of negotiation and manipulation to get what you want. If you're interviewing, this is about asking for the pay that you want up front, standing your ground, telling them, this is why I deserve to make this much. Here's my skills. Here's what I know I'm good at. It's all about this sort of confidence. With this Queen of Cups, though, you guys have a natural gift with your intuition, your intuitive abilities. You're very emotionally wise. You can read people like no other. You know how to get people to like you. I don't know if you guys have used it yet. It depends on if you are connected to your intuition or not. But it is a gift you have. You know how to get people to like you. And getting people to like you is what brings in abundance. That's what brings in the good things. Neptune is all about, I mentioned at the beginning, Neptune often represents like the actor, the actress, because it's sort of this fantasy, I'll become whatever you want me to be kind of thing. That's the energy that you're meant to learn how to portray, because once you master that, you're going to use this somehow for your career goals down the line. This skill is going to be highly important for you in order to gain recognition, success, money, fame, whatever in your career 5, 10, 20, 30 years from now. So you will continue in this loop until you finally do this. So if you do it now, if you see this reading and you do it now, then you're quickening the ending of this cycle and this phase. And once it's done, you've mastered it, it's done. You never go back to that same level in the video game again. It's on to the next and the next and the next. So maybe that will give you the courage to just put yourself out there and do it. Okay, the angel that's with you is the angel of discernment. And this says, through the grace of the divine, I am able to know the right path. Through the grace of the divine, I am able to know the right path. I am feeling a strong connection between this group and the previous group. Now, this group it's more for like the now, these sort of tangible things that you need to do right now. But the group I just did, which feels very connected, was talking about like 5, 10, 20, 30 years in the future, the overall big purpose of all of this, what you're meant to master and do, what your legacy is going to be. So if that resonates with you at all, check out the previous pile number 4. But this is more like tangible things that you need to be doing now to help get to the next step. So by doing this, it is going to lead you into the right path, the path that you are meant to be on. This is the first little step that you need to take. Okay, from our healing deck, we have Learn from Karma. I'm going to read this card because this is a card that I haven't pulled. That does make me think of Libra energy, which we do have the Jupiter in Libra card, but I want to read it. Let's see. It literally says, it's time to balance the scales, which is so Libra. And look, we've got balancing here and balancing here. So yeah, very much. Okay. Your current experience is a culmination of karma you have accrued through several lives. Each of these lives has offered you an opportunity to learn, discover, make choices, create connections, and either evolve or devolve. You are going through a time where you're being asked to compensate for an earlier deed from this or previous lifetimes. You can either complain about it and act like a victim, or embrace the opportunity to use this experience for great inner progress, whilst taking steps towards becoming a more honorable, honest, generous, compassionate, giving person. This is a time to go out of your way to do good deeds for others, no matter how inconvenient. Your family members are karmically connected to you, so you might look at what lessons they are teaching you and what healing you can offer them. This card also provides an opportunity to live in total honesty and integrity. This will require you to constantly check in with yourself and assess whether your actions are based on what you can gain or what you can give. This is really interesting. So this to me signifies that perhaps, and you guys should check out, I have a pick a card reading on what past life is still affecting you currently. It's one of the newer ones on my page. I recommend you check that out because that might help understand the tie-in with this particular pick a card. But I bet that in a previous lifetime, you all were in some sort of position of power and maybe overlooked a lot of deserving people. And so in this lifetime, and I don't think you did it intentionally or to be mean, sometimes it just happens. You know, our soul has to learn things for us to start noticing and having empathy in certain areas. We have to experience it for ourselves first. So I think that because of that lifetime, you incarnated here not consciously, knowing that you were going to be, you wanted to be on the other end of the stick. Okay, to see what it felt like to go unnoticed, to be the one to not get that promotion that you deserve, that you work so hard for. And the reason you need to go through it now is not just for your soul's growth, but I also think that in the future, you all will be in some sort of position of power or leadership. And because of this experience and this cycle that you're in currently, you're going to know, it's like you're going to get that power back, the same power that you had in the last lifetime. And it feels great and it feels big, okay? But this time you're going to know how to handle it without overlooking anybody else because you've been through that in this lifetime. You know what that feels like. There's no way you would ever do that to anybody else. So that's what kind of got you into this phase. And I feel like that card came up just to remind you that you actually wanted to experience this exact cycle. This cycle is not from spirit interfering, just feeling like you need it. You actually wrote this down on the paper, signed the contract like, no, I want to see what it feels like on the other end so that when I gain my great amount of power in this lifetime, I'm not going to feel guilty about how I used it. I'm going to know that I used it well. I used it for the good of others. So just, if that helps at all, just remind yourself of that. This was very much your choice and of your free will to go through this. Okay, from the animal deck, we have the gorilla. It says, take the time to listen compassionately to those you love, especially your family members. So I think for a lot of you, you've been going in this loop and this cycle very much alone, like maybe feeling too prideful to talk about it with others, or when you do open up to your friends and family and they try and give you advice, you might accidentally get very aggressive, maybe the aggression that you wish you could take out on that boss or the people overlooking you, you take out on the family and friends like that. Like maybe they say, well, maybe you should do this or put a resume out here. And you're like, no, that's not it. You guys don't know. You don't understand. So like that sort of thing. I think that by really opening up and talking to others, Spirit is going to have a way to communicate with you through them, just like they are right now through me. And it's also going to help like calm you a bit, get you a little bit more level-headed so that you can kind of make these money moves and get the recognition and the power that you guys really deserve. So be more open to conversations with others, vent, get it out with them, because it's going to help you not take it into work. Okay, the last card we have is going to tell us a subconscious phrase that's a negative subconscious phrase that's been playing out in your mind, and what phrase Spirit wants you to replace it with. So we have, if I'm in love with someone, we are soulmates and meant to be together forever. If I'm in love with someone, we are soulmates and meant to be together forever. Okay, that completely threw me off. I want to get a clarification on this card. I can get like a potential, the career message I'm getting from this. I just want to make sure that is career related and not something else I need to expand on. The career message I'm getting from this is that you guys may have clung to this certain corporation that you've been at or this certain job ideal because you feel like, no, that's what I decided I was going to do and go after. So I'm just going to keep staying, continue being overlooked for as long as it takes until I finally get the job or get the raise. And I feel like this card is telling you that no, you can actually decide to do something, but then realize it's not for you and part ways with it. You can decide something's right for you, and then maybe after some years have passed, after you've had some new experiences and evolved, it's no longer right for you, and it's time to break away from that. But just in case there's some sort of like love or relationship thing that I need to bring up, I just want to double check. So Spirit, this final card, is there anything I need to expand on that I didn't already cover? Is there anything I need to expand on that I didn't already cover? Usually they're flying out by now. Okay. Yeah, so the two cards that came out were the Chariot. This is Cancer energy, and Queen of Swords. This is air energy, Libra, Sagittarius, Libra, Gemini, and what's the other air sign? Aquarius. Jeez. Can you tell I've already got, you guys are my fifth pile, and I've been here for 2 hours. Okay, so these two cards are confirmation that the meaning I associated this phrase with is correct. This isn't so much in your love life. It's still focused on career, but the reason this card came out is because this sort of stubborn mentality you have with, well, I made this choice, so that's what it is. I made this choice. I decided years ago that I was going to manifest being a manager at this particular company. So even though I've been here for 10 years, they've overlooked me for every promotion, and I'm no longer, no closer to getting there, I'm going to stay because that's what I decided I was going to do. I'm going to prove to myself that I can do it. Versus, okay, clearly this isn't the right place for me. I know this is what I really wanted when I came here, but I think, it's time to part ways. That sort of stubbornness that has led you into a sort of unhappy dynamic in your work life also does play out in your relationships as well. This card is confirmation that there are other things that need, other people, situations, activities that need to be cut out from your life. And the only reason they haven't is because you've convinced yourself for some reason that I think you guys want to be perceived as very stable, reliable people. You want to be perceived as very trustworthy and like that you mean what you say and that you're good on your word. But you've taken it too far. There's a lot of activities, people, things that need to be cut out from your life that I don't even think you really enjoy. But you just feel like since you want to be that stable person of integrity that you need to keep them around because you decided 5 years ago that you liked this thing or these people. So that needs to be the same forever. And so this to me is just confirmation that there are other than just this job cycle dynamic. This is playing out everywhere else too. Could even just be like habits that you committed to years ago that need to be washed away. So you guys, this cycle is about a major cleansing, about learning how to go for what you want, but in the way that makes the most sense, not the way that is like the most unchanging or the most stable. Look at it in through a lens of what makes the most sense, what is the most honest. I want to make sure I'm expressing myself effectively, expressing my needs, asserting myself in a way that gets people to like me, understands the psychology behind people, and what they do, as well as allows for like growth. Your life needs to allow for growth and expansion and movement, not just this is who I decided I was going to be and that can never change until the day I die. Like growth, expansion, and movement in all areas of your life. So I hope that gave you guys some clarity to your situation, to this cycle that you are in. Comment below and let me know how it resonated. Let me know if you guys also watched pile number 4, because I do feel a lot of you were drawn to that pile, and we can start a conversation down below. And I will see you all in the next pick a card reading. Bye. All right, pile number 6, you made it to the end. Or I guess I should say I did. I can tell my voice is going a bit. I've been here for a couple of hours now. The video will probably be shorter just because I always kind of speed them up a little bit. So, because I'm naturally a very slow-paced talker. I'm a Cancer rising, and I think that has a lot to do with it. But anyways, you all chose the pile with the beautiful amethyst stone, which is all about cleansing and spirituality. It's a very like Pisces sort of stone. So I'm excited to see what your pile has in store for you in regards to this cycle that you feel stuck in. Where does it begin? Where does it end? How do I get out of it? I do want to start, though, with taking a few deep breaths together so we can connect to the energy of this pile so that you are subconsciously connected to all of the messages so you can pick up on what resonates and what doesn't. So let's take a few deep breaths. Okay, I feel connected. I am ready to go. All right, let's start with the astrological die. This will give us an overall feel for the reading, what life area is being affected for you. So I'm going to give these a shake and a roll. Okay, we have the 12th house, which is the house that rules Pisces, or that Pisces rules, as well as Neptune, which is the planet, the Pisces planet. So that really makes sense with the amethyst stone. And then we have Libra. So, and Libra is all about balance. It's about our relationships. The 12th house is a lot about endings and psychological cleansing. So I'm interested to see what else this pile has in store. Let's start with the tarot cards. Okay, we have 7 of Pentacles, 8 of Cups. This is Saturn and Pisces. The Chariot. Okay, here's the Cancer card. Some of you may be Cancers. And then we have 8 of Swords. Wow. This is a lot about, yeah, okay. So the Chariot is all about movement, about separating ourselves from something, something that was difficult, yes, that we no longer need in our life, yes, but that we did gain a lot of wisdom from. So not looking back with regrets at all, like looking back at the strength and the wisdom that you gained through all of this, but also recognizing it's time to move forward. It's time to move on. And this could have to do with psychological issues, depression, anxiety, addiction, eating disorders, sleep habits, because the 8 of Swords is about us being trapped, and swords represent the mind and our mentality. So this is kind of like being trapped in a certain state, mental state, or a certain mentality, and not really knowing how to cleanse and move forward. And with this Libra die that rolled up here, I feel like up until this point, the solution to you may have been one extreme or the other. Like, for example, with the 7 of Pentacles, this is a guy who is staying right where he is, no matter how long it takes. He's going to continue doing exactly what he's doing, believing that it's going to somehow benefit him in the future. Whereas 8 of Pisces is about leaving everything behind, even if you've worked so hard for it. like leaving it behind completely because you've recognized that it no longer serves you or fulfills you. So you're not even going to take the cups with you as you move forward. You're just going to leave them all there. Whereas the Chariot is about this balance of both. It's about recognizing that a lot of this did benefit you. You did gain a lot. There are certain things that you do need to keep and stick with. So this isn't about discarding everything like in the Eight of Cups. This is about Libra. This is about leaving some things behind, but bringing some things with you, because you're going to continue. I think you guys have, you've gone back and forth continuously choosing like one extreme or the other and being unhappy and unfulfilled in both, not realizing that going to the extreme, it's not exactly, it's the going to the extreme that's keeping you trapped and feeling low and in this sort of negative cycle, this sort of illusion that you're in. So it's not about going to one either or extreme. It's finding the balance. As soon as you have that balance, that Libra balance of, okay, I'm going to keep this, I'm going to leave that, I'm going to keep this, I'm going to leave that, then you're going to get this traction. This woman has no, traction. She's, stuck there. But the Chariot has traction, forward movement. That's when you're set free from this. Okay, let's see what the astrological cards have to say. So we have Moon in Libra, beautiful, more Libra energy, as well as Jupiter in Gemini, and that says bluff. So companionship and bluff. So I feel like this has a lot to do with your psychological makeup and how it affects your relationships. So I think that there are a lot of relationships, not just romantic, I'm talking like just in general. You find yourself getting involved with people, acquaintances, coworkers, friendships, and feeling dissatisfied. And I think in the past, what you've done is you've decided, you've gone to the extreme, right? So you put all this time and energy in thinking, well, they're not, perfect, but, no relationship is. And then all of a sudden you hit that and you feel this way and you keep trying to push through. And then you just finally are like, okay, that's it. I'm just discarding this whole thing. I'm ghosting them. Like, this relationship's done. I never want to talk to you again. It's not working. But then that also leaves you feeling like this. So, and I feel like you do all this without ever actually speaking your needs to the other person, giving them a chance to change. It's like you feel like the extreme is, I'll say nothing, I'll accept them exactly as they are, no matter what it is, or I can no longer accept them exactly as they are, so I need to just completely leave. Like, this relationship is at a loss, there's nothing I can do. Where the truth, the answer to this cycle lies in actually speak up to these people. Tell them what you're unhappy with. Tell them what you don't like. Really ponder and think on if there's anything you could do a bit differently to help this relationship dynamic improve. Like, you don't need to discard it completely, but yeah, there are certain things that need to be discarded. It's like this give and take, this balance. So the other astrological card we have is Jupiter. So we have Jupiter here twice. We have Jupiter here twice in Neptune, and a card that represents Pisces. So this is like a very Pisces, and the 12th house, this is very Pisces 12th house stuff, which is the most difficult stuff to deal with because it is our subconscious. We're not consciously aware of what we're doing when it comes to our 12th house. So I will admit, this cycle does to me feel much more like insidious and difficult and complicated to figure out than the other piles. I feel like the best thing I could tell you, I guess, is that I think this is about your relationships, and I don't think any of your relationships need to be completely discarded or let go of. I feel like they need to be improved, and the only way for you to improve them is to actually consciously start becoming differently. Communicate your needs more, present yourself differently to the world, express your needs. Like, your identity is going to need to shift a bit. And there needs to be a lot of psychological cleansing. Meditation would be really good. Going to therapy would be really good. Reading, like getting self-help books that are about relationship dynamics, friendships, and that sort of thing, so that you guys can kind of figure this out, like cleanse this and figure it out. I do feel like a lot of you maybe witnessed a divorce in your life or a very traumatic sort of breakup early on in life. And I think that is what led you subconsciously to this conclusion that if something's not working, the only solution is to stick it out and just deal with it, or completely abandon it. Like, not recognizing subconsciously, Because our brain, I think, is like done forming by the time we're like 5 to 7. And during that time in your life, you never got to see the happy ending, the happy marriage, the solution, the differences and then coming back together, the differences and then improving. It's like you only saw either put up with it, put up with it, put up with it, or break away and completely leave. So your subconscious mind hasn't pieced together how that actually works, how it works to actually have something that's a bit wonky and not quite working, and talk it through and figure it out and push through it. Especially with friendships. I'm getting a lot like with just general friendships, but co-workers, things like that. So let's see what angels are with you. You all actually had 2 angel cards that wanted to come out. I will say with all this Jupiter, you guys have a lot of water energy in your chart. You could be Cancers, Sagittarius, Pisces, or Libra, because we have Libra twice. Okay, so we have the angel of freedom, as well as the guardian angel of spiritual growth. So on the angel of freedom, it says, I am always free to choose love, independence, and creativity. I'm always free. That is so the energy of the Chariot. Whereas I feel like you guys are in this energy where you feel like you have no choice and no ability to help a relationship evolve, help a relationship to improve. You don't feel like there's options. I mean, you do. You feel like the only 2 option is stay quiet and always have a smile on your face and bend to everyone else's needs. Or once I'm finally sick of doing that, like get the heck out of Dodge and never talk or connect with any of those people again. And so once you recognize that no, there's like an actual solution where you can improve it and express yourself and things can evolve and change and the relationship can actually deepen, that's when you're going to feel this real sense of freedom. So the guardian angel of spiritual growth says, the way I become spiritual is to simply become myself. I love that. The way I become spiritual is to simply become myself. With this Pisces and Sagittarius energy and all this Jupiter, I do feel like, obviously, you guys are interested in spirituality. You're on a pick a card channel. You're on a tarot channel. But I feel like you guys may be interested in actually doing something like that yourself, either maybe not for career, but maybe, with your friends, with your family, incorporating spirituality into your day-to-day life. But it could be something you're interested in career-wise. And I feel like you guys may be really hard on yourself. A lot of times this 8 of Swords energy can be about being very hard on yourself, very restrictive. And, maybe you guys associate being spiritual with like fasting for 3 days, meditating for 2 hours a day, taking psychedelic drugs or whatever it is. And because spirituality fascinates you, you may feel like you have to do those things to be considered spiritual. When in reality, with the confirmation of this card, you just need to be you. You're already spiritual. It doesn't matter what you're eating, how often you're exercising, what your tarot reading skills are, whether or not you're on psychedelics. Like, you yourself are very spiritual. And once you accept yourself as such, that's also going to help you move forward at a much quicker and faster pace. Because I also think that these relationship dynamics, I think that you may view like highly spiritual people, like, for example, if you read about Jesus in the Bible, or just what people think of Jesus, he's unconditional love, right? He's always so loving. He's always so nice. He's always so appeasing. He's such a great leader. He's just like calm and wise. We don't imagine Jesus like getting upset with the way, his friends act and then like asking them to like, can you please change that? Because our relationship isn't going to work if you continue being that way, right? Like, we just don't think about that. So therefore, if you're trying to associate yourself with being a very spiritual person, that may be why you think that option's off limits for you. No, I'm just supposed to like allow people to be exactly as they are and what they are. And, they should just be allowed to change when they want to change. And I don't want to interfere. I'm just supposed to show them unconditional love, which means I just, I don't have anything about them that upsets me. Okay. But then obviously you get to a point where you can't handle that, or the relationship then feels shallow. It feels fake. It feels false because you're feeling all these things inside that you're not expressing to these people. And then you just have to cut it off. Then it's like an all or nothing. So those things that you associate with being highly spiritual, that's not actually the truth. The truth is being your authentic self, which is like all your needs, all your desires, all the thoughts going through your mind. You know, that is a part of you, and that makes you spiritual. So don't feel ashamed or guilty or embarrassed to open up to others and tell them, like, that really upsets me when you do that, or I don't feel very connected to you because you never do X, Y, or Z. All those things are important for you. We don't learn anything in this lifetime if not for other people. Like if you were just born on a mountaintop all by yourself, which a lot of people think of as, super spiritual. There's lots of, you know, gurus or monks or nuns that spend their entire life like, in complete solitude. I mean, they are with each other though, but you can see on YouTube, there's people that like, man, lived in mountain for 30 days and meditated for 30 days straight. And we think, oh my gosh, he's so spiritual, just in complete solitude, talking to God 24/7, right? But the reality is we incarnated on this earth to learn lessons through other people. We can't learn, I mean, meditating's great in order to calm and center ourselves, right? And to gain perspective, but we need interactions with others. That's how we gain wisdom, it's how we learn, and it's how we grow. So you're in a phase of practicing how to have proper interactions with others so that your relationships can flourish and grow. Specifically, I think your friendships. All right, so from the animal deck, we have the penguin. And this says, the period of darkness that you've been experiencing is now passing. You guys, that almost made me choked up. That makes me so happy for you because that's exactly what I feel like you're in. And let that penguin card be confirmation that this is passing, you guys. I mean, that even makes me feel like it's passing without there. You have a lot of assistance around you. I think that your spiritual team recognizes that when it comes to this 12th house and the subconscious, you can't just do it on your own. You need the help. And I really feel you guys have a huge spiritual team around you helping you work through all of this, helping you get through the darkness and bring in the daylight. So let that be assurance that you are surrounded by support and that things are going to go much quicker than they would without that if it was just you trying to work through this. From the healing deck, we have reverse disassociation. And I want to read this card to you. What number is it? 28. Give yourself permission to feel. It can be easy to disassociate from your feelings when the challenges of life become too overwhelming. This can occur when we hold on to suppressed, unacknowledged, painful, or traumatic experiences and allow ourselves to be bombarded by the noises of the outside world. From watching too much TV, to listening to loud music, to engaging with social media, when we constantly run from one sensation to another, our nerves become numbed and we begin to feel empty inside. In order to recover your sensitivity and aliveness, you need to slow down, connect to your body, and give yourself permission to feel. You have to realize that as a spiritual being, you need to spend as much time nourishing your soul as you do feeding your physical body. Your spirit is beckoning you to go within, let go of past pain, and transform it into enriching wisdom. This card to me is, I think that a lot of you guys, as far as when it comes to like spirituality or like the spiritual leaders that you look up to or have been indoctrinated into your mind from a young age, they come across, or I think you perceive them as being emotionless, or like they've been able to supersede their emotions because they don't have any. Like they're never angry, they're never violent, they're never depressed, they're never, just never emotional. And that to you has been associated with like wisdom and spirituality. But that card is letting you know that the opposite is actually true. The more connected you are to your emotions, the more you acknowledge them and don't try to supersede or like overcome them, the calmer you become. That's when the wisdom and the spirituality sinks in. And, part of having emotions is having a desire for deep connection with others. And so that's kind of everything you're working through with this. And I know that this pile of all was the most difficult for me to put into words and to explain. And I think it's because the 12th house is so murky. But, I do feel confirmation that you have a huge spiritual team around you that's helping you through this. And you're going to be seeing things a lot more clearly in the near future. Okay, the last card I want to get to is a negative subconscious phrase that's been playing out in your mind and what phrase Spirit wants you to replace it with. So let's take a look. If I ignore a problem, it will go away. If I ignore a problem, it will go away. That is so perfect. Some of you, what this card makes me think of, did I mention addiction? I think I did earlier, but maybe a lot of you are bothered by maybe you're vaping or, you know, smoking marijuana or drinking or like doing something like that on like a very regular basis, and you're bothered that you feel like you need to do it, but you're also kind of scared to make a plan to end it. So this might be the phrase that's playing out like, well, you know, I'm just going to ignore it another day. I'm sure it will find a way to work itself out. And that same dynamic plays out in your relationships and other things in your life. So Spirit wants you to replace that phrase with, when it comes to a problem that makes me anxious, I approach it and do not avoid it. I have an unlimited resource of courage and spirit within me. When it comes to a problem that makes me anxious, I approach it and do not avoid it. I have an unlimited resource of courage and spirit within me. That made me feel so good. You guys, I resonated with this pile so much. Maybe that's why it was a bit murkier to get through. I often have a much harder time reading for myself than I do others because my ego tries to get involved. But I'm feeling very courageous and very inspired by this pile, by this group, by the others who are going to choose the same pile and are connected and dealing with these same sorts of energies that I definitely feel myself in. So let's provide each other some support down in the comments. I would love to get a conversation started with you all down there, and I will see you in the next reading. Until then, bye-bye. Love you guys.